Okay, so we're on to day one of practice of 75 Hard Musician Edition. Now, I've just today ordered the Rebecca Clark theme and variations, and the only one I could find was from America, so it's going to take a couple of weeks to come. So in the meantime, especially considering I've left the music to Bohemian Rhapsody at home, that one's going to take a lot more practice than any of the other two, I do believe. But I'm going to start with Mozart because it's my favourite. The first thing I'm going to do is just have a little play through it, get an idea of where the tricky parts are, because it's in sections, so I'll get an idea of the type of patterns that are going to cause me problems, and then I can find correlating patterns of studies for my half an hour's practice of study. But I'm not going to bore you with every single minute of every day's worth of practice, because that would be just annoying. I'll give you some little snippets and a roundup at the end of the week. So we'll give it a go. That's all doable because it's nice and slow to start with. Although it stays slow, we get a lot more notes later. There we go. That's awkward just because of the way it's written. It's hard to read some of the underneath part notes in the right hand, but that'll be easy enough to sort out. And then we get a section not long after that just goes. And starts going faster. Most of that's doable. I can see later on we've got a lot of what we call diminished seventh chords, which are all made up of these minor third intervals. And he likes a lot of scales, so I need a lot of scales, diminished sevenths potentially, arpeggio type figures, because I can see later on as well we've got all this easy on its own, but you've got to do that at the same time. So it's quite hard to coordinate it and make sure you're getting the patterns right when they're both different. So again, I'm going to look for kind of almost arpeggiated patterns that are going on in both hands. The piece then returns to its original and goes through various other little bits and bobs. So I'm going to have a little play through this and then I'm going to do some study work. Yeah, so my half an hour's nearly up, but what I expected was all of this. The only way that I've figured to possibly, and I already knew this, I just don't take my own advice, the only way to get these different patterns nailed into my head is going to be using a different articulation pattern. So instead of playing it how it's written, I'm going to play two legato in like a couplet and then two staccato, so you get this. I still did it wrong because I was thinking about what I was going to say next. But the point being is that the articulation that requires more kind of wrist and hand movement slows you down, which gives me time to think. The problem being is that I can, generally speaking, play this well enough to get by without most people knowing that I'm playing odd wrong notes here and there. But I want to do this properly. The other thing that I've come across is a particular type of articulation which goes across the beat. So instead of going, which the first of each two is on the beat of the bar, which makes it much easier. This goes against that. And you always naturally start changing it or putting accents in the wrong place. This is something that's quite common in Mozart, and I've never mastered it because I've never tried. So I am going to really try and master doing this, but again, it's going to be some slow, painstaking practice. The other thing that I wasn't expecting that I found quite tricky in this is in the slower passages of the piece, the timing's quite hard. I'm really having to break it up and think in quaver beats. Some things are moving faster than I expected and some things much slower. So we'll see how we get on with this over the week. But I'm going to finish up here and then I'm going to look at doing some studies basically on as many different scale types as I can possibly find. at that. It's in 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. There. Okay, so I'm about halfway through my technical exercises. I've just been doing some Czerny, which is basically lots of scales whizzing around, and it's just been reminding me actually that one of the things that I've always struggled with, actually, because I had tendinitis quite a lot as a teenager playing, is repetitive motion. So particularly if I'm doing scales for a long time or playing fast for a long time in one hand, then I struggle. So this has brought to light that problem again, which isn't helped by the fact that I don't practice regularly. So I'm hoping that for this week, I think I'm going to stick to these Czerny studies, although in some regards they're probably not going to challenge me too much in terms of helping prepare some of the pieces that I'm going to be looking at playing. But I think this is going to be quite good for doing some wrist and finger strength over the coming days. So it's kind of so things like this. Also good for working on evenness of fingers, so hopefully I'm going to get a little bit better at that as well. But the other thing that I've thought about today is I've spent half an hour doing little bits and bobs on the Mozart, and then obviously I'm spending half an hour doing these studies. I think I'm going to have to adjust that as I go along, because half an hour a day isn't going to be enough to get through a program's worth of practice, obviously. So I might have to just realign the amount of time, maybe just think of doing like a 10-minute warm-up that focuses on patterns using studies that are within the pieces that I'm learning, and then the rest of the time try and dedicate to actually learning the program. The program itself is going to be about 45-50 minutes long, so even at doing 50 minutes a day on just the program, I'm not going to get through everything in every day. It's going to be probably focusing on maybe one piece for a period of time, or one piece every day, or whatever it might be. I feel with the Mozart that, seeing as I'm waiting for the piece to arrive in the post, I reckon I could probably get that pretty close in 1 to 2 weeks, which would then allow me to focus on the other two for the rest of the time and then just keep this one going. But anyway, don't forget, I need suggestions for a short piece that I can add into this program. I want it to be something that you guys have chosen. So have a think. Short, nothing more than 5 minutes. Try to stay away from like the obvious ones that I'm likely to have already played. I'd love to learn something new that I've never heard before. But anyway, let me know what you come up with. Hey guys, so here's my active wellness for day 1. Now this might sound a bit crazy, but I'm actually really enjoying listening through the audiobooks of the Chronicles of Narnia. It's been a long time since I've read them. Obviously seen a lot of the films, but yeah, enjoying the golden rings right now. Or the different coloured rings anyway. It's a good opportunity to get out and enjoy this beautiful weather and have a nice little walk with a bit of C.S. Lewis. Guys, day 2. 75 Hard Musician Edition. It's flipping hot though. Although I have got my hours practice done today, I'm quickly realising that this Mozart I'm going to get learnt pretty quick. So actually what I've also used some time for today, because yes, I forgot Bohemian Rhapsody again, is just putting some final touches on Schubert Impromptu number 2. Hopefully you've already watched and seen, same thing, 1, 3 and 4, and there's only 4 of them and I've recorded 3, and I'd like to get number 2 done just to finish the set. I did try, but I kept making too many mistakes, got mad and gave up. Yeah, great. So hopefully we'll get it done today. I have also recorded a couple of the Mozart piano sonatas already in the past. I would like to complete all of those and then work my way through the Beethoven. So because I've got an hour to myself later as well, and I've done a bit of practice this afternoon. I'm hopefully going to record the second impromptu, a Mozart sonata, and we'll see what happens from there. Yeah, so I also managed to get my active wellness in today, so I managed to go for a walk with a colleague at lunch and went to get a sandwich. Went to this cafe, thought we'll sit outside because it's nice. I'm not kidding you, like the sandwiches ranged from £11 to £14 for a sandwich. Not even like a really special my sandwich moment from friends. So I went for the cheapest thing that was available, basically, which was a bacon and egg sandwich, and that was the only thing that was like under I think it was £5.50 because I got charged for the sauce. It was a lovely sandwich, and it was a lovely time, and we walked there, and obviously it was good for my wellness to spend time with a friend and have some food and some nice cold drink because it's boiling. So we've got that done, we've got the practice done. This video is all in a jumbled up order. It might be in some coherent 1 day, 2 day thing, but who knows? Who cares? You might not have even made it this far, so we'll see. Hey guys, we're on day 3. I've already done 1 half-an-hour practice today. It's been a bit of a push. What I need to do is I need to sort out... Noisy. I need to sort out a keyboard stand because I've got a stage piano keyboard at home, but nothing to put it on. So that's what I'm going to have to do to practice at home. So, time to get to it. Hey guys, so it's Thursday, day 4. Unfortunately, I didn't manage active wellness yesterday. I did take a little walk to the shops, but it was so hot and it had been a really, really long day. But I managed everything else, and I'll tell you all about that at the end of the week. Anyway, I'm at school early because I had to drop my son off for a school trip. So I'm going to get my first half-an-hour practice done now. I still couldn't find Bohemian Rhapsody, the arrangement by Jared Radnick that I'm going to try and learn. So I've had to buy it again, which is annoying. But I know that I need to crack on with it now because, take a look at this, guys, take a look. That's the easy bit. It gets worse. So, go on, get out of here. I need to crack on. Just to give you an idea, the first bit is the easiest bit. And just look at how much is involved in playing this piece. Trouble is, normally when you play Bohemian Rhapsody, simple hand crossover, but this one is incorporating both hands doing that whilst doing other little bits in between. You'll see what I mean, but I've just tried one go through the first page and it's trickier than I remember. See what I mean? It's very bitty at the minute because there's just so many extra little bits all over the place, but my goodness, it gets worse, so wish me luck. Hi guys, another beautiful day. This is Friday, so this is day 5. Gosh, if I can't keep track now, I'm going to struggle when it gets to like day 50. Oh, at least that's positive thinking. I mean, it's been amazing weather this week. Trouble being is the last couple of days it's meant that my active wellness has only been literally just walking to the shop. Because if you've been not necessarily in the actual direct heat all day, but inside buildings without air conditioning, which almost feels like worse, it just feels so draining. So I haven't done much the last 2 days, but forced myself to go out on a walk tonight because tomorrow I've got the school garden party, so I'll be there all day. Do keep watching so that you can hear all about the music that I've been listening to this week. Quite fun today because I received the new Rebecca Clark music yesterday, so I managed to have my first go through that today, though I didn't remember to take my camera, unfortunately, so haven't got much evidence of that, but I promise you I've been all the way through it. Starts pretty easy, full sense of security with the theme and variations, I guess. Then it definitely gets harder as it goes on. It's going to be a suitable challenge, not a ridiculous one, but a good challenge, so I'm looking forward to doing a bit more time on that over the weekend. But anyway, I'm going to carry on enjoying this walk, this beautiful sunshine, and keep watching so you can check up on the rest of the week. Hey guys, so being the end of the week, I wanted to just take you through a couple of the bits and bobs that I've been doing. So one of the things was I've been reading that book about Beethoven. So I just wanted to go through, I've made a couple of notes about some really interesting things that I found about Beethoven. Interestingly, the book starts at the end, but I suppose even some of the best movies do that, don't they, right? So despite the fact that he basically had very few friends and was disliked by a large amount of people, although he was obviously as well known as somebody could be in those days without social media and things like that. But when he died, they had to draft the army in to basically keep the crowds back, kind of lining the streets and outside of his house, which is where he'd been prepared in the coffin before he got taken to the funeral service, which apparently was customary there being Austria. And then a couple of interesting things about his childhood came up, one of them being that he was heavily bullied at school. As the book goes on, it becomes quite clear that this is largely because he just has so much trouble kind of socialising with people. But his second piano teacher ended up getting employed full-time and lived in the family home. But this piano teacher would get drunk with his dad, with Beethoven's dad, quite a lot. And they would drag him out in the middle of the night, basically, to come and play the piano. And there are second-hand reports that say that he'd been heard crying on numerous occasions when this would have happened. So a little bit harsher than Mozart's upbringing with Leopold, even though that was still quite a parental, money-driven kind of machine. And this is what Beethoven's father wanted for him, or at least hoped that that would be the case. Now, this is the point where I've gone up to in the book where Beethoven's 16, and I didn't know this actually, that when he was 16, Mozart was his idol. I mean, why wouldn't he be? And he travelled to Vienna against his father's wishes to go and meet Mozart. Now, considering at the time Beethoven was actually quite famous as a performer and starting to become popular as a composer, so it's quite strange that despite the fact that the two met, there's almost nothing documented about it. There is some second-hand witness that was written in a biography about 60 years later by, I believe it was one of Mozart's neighbours, who basically said that this was at a point where Mozart had been recently ill, he was having problems at home, he had children, and he basically wasn't that impressed about somebody bringing a young prodigy to show him, but nonetheless he listened to him play, gave him one of his own themes that he'd written, and asked him to kind of make some variations up based on this theme. And apparently it was heard that Mozart had said, we'd better watch out for this kid. But that's the only thing that's actually registered. But there is some other proof that the two met, and that is that later in life, when Beethoven was pretty much deaf, his nephew used to have to write questions he wanted to ask his uncle down on a notebook, and that notebook was found and preserved, and there were questions about his meeting with Mozart in that notebook, but unfortunately, obviously, we don't know what the answers were because they would have been Beethoven giving them back verbally. But still quite cool to think that Mozart was his idol. Beethoven performed many of Mozart's piano concertos. So that's what I've taken from the book this week. Now obviously I aimed to do this every day, and I think, let's check, I think there was 2 days out of the 7 that I didn't manage to do the reading, so still more than usual, and I know it's not fully doing it, but I think we're going to have to look at this 75 hard as trying to do everything every day, but then looking at the end of it in terms of if I've read a book 50 days out of 75 and practiced 40 days out of 75, that's more than what I would have done without this, which would have been probably nothing. So anyway, that's this segment over, guys. Book review. So the other thing that was part of this 75 hard was listening to some music that I'm not familiar with or from an instrument that I don't play every day, and I've been more successful with this than the reading, to be fair. There's only been 1 day that I've not listened, and I'll just take you through a few things. Now, because I do play quite a lot of instruments, this has actually been quite hard. But anyway, so I started off by listening to a Mozart bassoon concerto. It did not help my lack of love for the instrument, if I'm honest. I mean, to be fair, Mozart wrote this when he was 18, and my first thought was, this would sound amazing on the horn. But yeah, I'm sorry, it's just going to be in that bottom pile of instruments that I'm just not greatly fond of. The following day, similarly, I went down the same route. I thought, well, I love Mozart. Beethoven loved Mozart. Let's do it. So I went for Mozart's Oboe Concerto. And this says something about it, that he himself repurposed it for the flute not long after having written it for the oboe. I don't need to say any more about that, do I? I did enjoy it more. It was more technical. There's more area for different colours in the sound of the oboe. But again, I'm going to have to be really controversial and just say clearly double reeds are not my thing. I then thought, let's stick with the woodwind, because it's not that I don't dislike woodwind, although it's the only family of the orchestra that I've never actually particularly desired to learn an instrument from. But I thought, I do love the sound of the clarinet. So I thought, I'm going to listen to something random. So I searched up famous clarinet concertos, and the obvious ones came, Mozart. And so I thought, come on, let's try something not Mozart. So I tried Aaron Copland. And it was awful. Just not my kind of music at all. Obviously appreciated the abilities of the player, but never going to be listening to that one again. Then I broke the rules slightly in terms of listening to something not my instrument, because I'd been making a bit of headway with the Mozart Fantasia that I'm playing, and I thought, I want to listen to that actually because I want to get an idea of what kind of speeds other people play it. And I was really surprised actually, because there's basically 2 different speeds in the piece. There's a slower section and there's a fast one. The slower section was ridiculously slow, so slow that I don't think I'm going to be able to handle playing it that slow, even if Mozart's going to be really upset with me. Sorry, dude. It's going to be a little bit quicker than what I've heard recorded. But then the fast section came, and I thought, oh my days, this is like 3 times faster than I was thinking and hoping. So at least that adds an extra little challenge, because I might not do it quite at the speed that I heard it. Again, it just almost lost the ability to still hear the melodies being shaped within that speed. Don't know what all the hand movement is at the minute, but there we go. But it was really interesting and helpful. Then I did a search on famous symphonies, and of course Mozart, Beethoven came up, and I thought, come on, clearly verging into the Aaron Copland field era, not my bag. So I thought, right, classical romantic composers. So I came across Schubert, and I listened to Schubert's Unfinished Symphony, which is number 8. Loved it. Very, very similar to Beethoven. It's almost like a mix of Mozart and Beethoven. Really, really loved it, and what a shame that he didn't get to finish that, or decided not to anyway. And the following day, I decided to listen to another Schubert symphony because I really enjoyed the previous one, and I really enjoyed number 9 as well. And then finally in the week, because obviously I had one day where I didn't listen to something, I listened to, and again I broke the rules, but this is Beethoven's Third Symphony, the Eroica, and I love this symphony so much that I just wanted to listen to it. Particularly because I had a bit of journey time in the car, so I wanted to be able to listen to it at full blast without having headphones on and wrecking my ears. And I played this, I'm not going to count how many years ago, in youth orchestras on the horn. This is one of the first symphonies that actually used 3 horns, because normally composers only used 2 up until that point. And in one of the movements, a big feature in that movement is like a horn trio. It's brilliant. Yeah, I knew I was going to like it because I knew the piece and I really enjoyed it. But there's nothing wrong with that. And if you're going to put in the comments, that broke the rules, I don't care. So that is the end of the listening to music review of the week. I really have enjoyed listening back to music again, rather than just endlessly watching TV and things. But we're going to see what the screen time looks like very, very soon. Hopefully it's a bit better than it was the previous week. I don't think it's going to be by much, if I'm honest, though. In fairness, that is due to the fact that I've watched a lot of World Cup matches, and there were a lot of really, really boring World Cup matches. So I've just sat there waiting for a goal whilst scrolling. But anyway, end of music listening sesh. Hey guys, well, yeah, so I don't have a piano at home, so I thought, right, I'll get my keyboard set up. So I managed to make sure I had a stand. Haven't used this particular keyboard for a while. It's got a problem when you plug it into a PA system. One of the connectors at the back is dodgy, so it doesn't work very well. So I've been using the church keyboard for gigs. So, got the stand, got the keyboard. It works. I'm not sure where the sustain pedal is, or the music stand. So I don't think any practice is going to get done today because I pretty much need both of those. Definitely the music. I could get away without the stand scrap that, wipe it clean. I could do without the pedal for one practice, but I really do need the music. I could kind of prop it up so I could maybe get by, but I don't know where on earth I've put the pedal. So anyway, for this week, I practiced Monday to Friday. I did an hour every day, 5 hours more practice than I've done for a long time. Really enjoyed it, and you've seen bits and bobs of it over the week. And I've really been enjoying getting to learn some new pieces, in particular the Rebecca Clark. So, yesterday was a day off because I had a very busy day at work. That's no excuse. But anyway, and now I've got this set up, I thought, right, come on, let's do it. Sunday practice. Yeah, anyway, we shall solve the problem of the pedal and the music stand ready for the summer holidays. I've got one more week left at school, so I just wanted to make sure I had something set up ready for practicing at home, because we've got 9 weeks. Didn't mean to rub it in, sorry. Yeah, so we've got 9 weeks off where I won't be near a piano. So this will have to do. Anyway, I think it's time for me to say goodbye, and perhaps just whilst I play you out, we can do a little screen time comparison and see how I got on from the week before I started this and then this week. So thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, throw it around, do whatever. Who knows? Anyway, see you later. Whoa, stop that, scratch it. Look what I've found. The pedal of sustain. Yes. Now I just have to master the stand Delaholdy of music. Let's see if we can find it. It's been confirmed in the depths of what's known as my understairs cupboard. I found the stand Della Music. So this is the real goodbye. Thanks again for watching. If you didn't listen to me before, like, subscribe, share it. And if you're not interested and you're not watching it, just leave my videos on play and it'll just put the watch time up. So cheers guys.